See, I first met Vincent in junior high school when I was 12. I was getting beaten up regularly by the Cholos. And then Vincent appeared in school, and all of a sudden I wasn't getting beaten up by the Cholos. And then when I found out, it was because years later, it was because Vincent had told him to stop beating me up. And so, because Vincent kind of hung with a rough crowd in those days. He was from Virgil, the rough school, and he had come to King, our not so as rough school. And so then I brought him to my dad's house where our friends would go there after school, and he would give the girls back rubs and stuff. We would give back rubs, and we showed Vincent about giving back rubs to the girls. And I think he really thought that giving back rubs was really preferable to switchblades and fighting and practicing his kung fu and hanging out with the Cholos. So I think that was my one contribution to Vincent, was me teaching him the way of peace and love that he obviously already believed in. And then from there, we only taught each other about love. And sometimes I would forget. How much Vincent loved me. And so once we were in Hawaii, and I was in that kind of mood, oh, you don't care about me or something. And so he grabbed me really hard and told me that, that I should know, that he would love me forever. And so now that he's passed, I plan on loving him forever, because I'm learning what forever is. One time my mother got our van stuck in Indiana to a pole. It was chained to a pole. So I told Vincent that my mother's van was chained to a pole in Indiana. So we drove across country, got to the van, and found out that it was chained to a pole because it didn't have any registration, and that the motor wasn't working. So the police showed up since it didn't have any registration, and Vincent rapidly assured them that we should probably return this van to Chicago with these old people that obviously are senile and don't know, should not even drive a car. So we got the van back to Chicago. I was never able to fix the motor, but by the time we got back to the western coast, then Vincent's big white dog was sleeping in the van with Vincent, and I was sleeping underneath the van. For obvious reasons, I was in the doghouse. But people I know have talked about how strong and powerful Vincent is, and how he might be stern, and I think he was ruthless in his ability to love deeply and to connect deeply with a lot of people. For myself, I felt that Nico replaced me as Vincent's best friend just because I abandoned him moving up to Northern California with my father when I was around 16 years old. So people would come and visit and hitchhike. We would hitchhike north and south to stay in contact, and always through Vincent, since the year of 1972 to this year of 2013, I was able to remain connected with my friends of my childhood through my connection and love for Vincent. So I'm very grateful for the time that we spent and the relationship I plan on continuing with Vincent in my heart. Thank you.
There's too many stories to share for this, but I wanted to make sure I got my presence in here to let you know, first of all, you always have your father, you always have family. And I can just guarantee you that no matter what's happening in your life, right now, your dad's on your shoulder, and he's guiding you. You may not feel it, you may not know it, but I know it. I promise you, that's what's happening. Because he's always in my heart. I've known your dad since we were little kids. And he's still with me all the time. So, I don't know, as you look at all these stories from all these people that all love your father, know that they love you too. We all do, because we're all one family. And the biggest reason we're all one family is because we all knew your dad, and he brought us all together. It's impossible to compile my life, a friendship with your father in this beautiful video, but just know that he's around, and he loved you guys more than anything in his life. Anything I've ever seen him do or want or be a part of or share. His children were the utmost triumph that he had. He was so proud, and he worked so hard to overcome any perceived inadequacies that he thought he had in himself. He would battle. He would want to learn. He would ask for counsel. He would talk to my father because he wanted to be the best papa he could. And I think he was. I know he was. I don't think so. I know he was. I hope that you think so. And you will start to see and remember and feel his presence as your life goes on. And just know that we're always around. And, we all love everybody. If you're a part of his world, you're a part of mine, you're a part of your families, you're a part of all his friends, and we all love you.
If there was anything that I wanted to say to the children, it's that he will always be the voice in your head. If you listen to your heart, you will hear him. And it's funny how the energy never dies, the body goes away, but I don't think the energy ever dies. And you can hear them if you listen in those still moments in yourself. So follow that guide.
Vincent, in a word, family. And family wasn't just what you were born into, it's the friends that you keep. He had a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters, a lot of angels. Of course, his 3 amazing children who someday will be seeing this. We just finished his memorial, his celebration of life. We didn't want it to be sad, but there were some tears today because it was just so touching. We all miss him so, so much. And we hope that in the future, Dylan, Mia, Jazz, that we're all still family and still a part of each other's lives and still keeping a connection for what your father was and meant to all of us. And that is love at the end of the day. So much love and aloha.
So I'm Robert Horsting, and I met your dad when he was 14, I was 15. The day I met him, he came across so friendly, and I met him at Nina Edelman's house. And Nina and I had already been friends, and I just happened to come over one day. Vincent was there. There was another guy there Filipino guy that was national, who was actually the boyfriend of Nina Edelman at the time. And they were already out of the house. He and Vincent were rooming together, but kind of wandering around. They didn't really have a place. And that night I got in an argument with my mom, and she said, my house, my rules. If you don't want to live by them, you can leave. And I said, okay. And so off I went. And the next day, Vincent and this other guy and I were roommates. And it was funny because the first night we stayed at Nina's house in her room. And then the next night we were invited to use a storage room from another guy's apartment building. It was a 10-foot by 3-foot storage room. 2 of us slept side by side. The other guy was rolled up at the bottom there. Then the next 2 nights we slept in a construction site, an apartment building being built on Talmadge right across from the old ABC. And the first night we slept on the first floor, and then that day they built the second floor of the foundation, so we slept up on the second floor. And then we went back to Nina's house, and her father, Gordon, said, hey, Nina told me about what's happening with you guys, that you need a room, and I'm not too proud to say that, I could use the money. So if you want it, the room's yours for $68 a month. And I figured, looking back on that had to be some reoccurring bill. That was such an odd number, $68. But that's what we paid, and Vincent was grooming dogs at the time. I went to an apartment building that was the first apartments we lived in when we moved to Hollywood. And I was washing windows for these different people, and because they knew me as a kid, they would give me snacks and all this stuff. And Gordon Edelman also got me and the other guy a job building props at the Hollywood Center Theater for $1 an hour, and that was a great gig. We enjoyed that. One of the places that we used to hang out a lot was the House of Pies over at Franklin and Franklin and Vermont. And there were always a lot of fun people to watch and check out, and we could go there and just have a good old time. And and kick back. So, you know, we'd earn our little bit of money and go there and have like one piece of pie or dessert and a coffee, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, always remember your father with a lot of love, and you know, he's a great person, and I know that, you know, he's touched a lot of lives, and obviously that was expressed through the fact that the variety of people that came to here to help celebrate your father's life. So you guys had a great father and great role model, and I love him and always will.